Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you for not just watching the first VOD, but then choosing to click on the second one. This did also have some issues with not being visible during the stream. I don't think there were any other particular problems other than just me still figuring out how to be a streamer, and yeah, give me some grace on that. We're trying, we're learning, we're getting better. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the VOD. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Crossroads Clearing. I am Gaelwind, your humble host, and I have made quite a few changes since the last time. I do want to start off with just one thing. I do have an announcement, and not a capital A announcement. I'm not going anywhere, but unfortunately, chat, I have been betrayed. So, my lovely wife, who you may notice in the chat, she was in the chat last time when we were here, but she did not say a word, and so did not count towards any of our viewer statistics. I'm just kidding, it's fine. I have to give her a hard time. I didn't understand that I would have to request that she put things in the chat either, but we have to have a little fun here, right? So, not just that though. I did also notice quite a few things that I'm sorry I did not notice while I was streaming. It turns out the last time around that Project Zomboid was letterboxed on the screen. I play with an ultra-wide monitor because I have old man diabetic eyes and things are a little hard to see. And so I've had to go in, change resolutions, get things fixed. So that's not going to be a problem this time around. I know some viewers last time weren't able to actually see the video at all, but I think that was just a Twitch issue. So that's been addressed. Hopefully we'll get someone coming in and dropping a follow or something like that. Really, follows are the best right now. Because I did get, let me see, I think I can actually simulate it on screen for everybody. Oh, it won't let me simulate it while I'm live, I guess. Okay. Well, anyway, we got some alerts set up, just free stream elements alerts set up here and a few other scenes that hopefully I don't have to use either. But anyway, enough yapping. I don't think we've got the numbers yet to justify a full-on chatting stream. So let me go ahead and get Project Zomboid open. Is it going to capture? There we go. It's just taking a moment. Let's see. I am getting a report. Maybe someone else can't see my stream. Okay. Anyway, I'll be looking into that in the background. I can see everything on OBS, so hopefully everyone can see me just fine. I guess we'll have to find out as things goes on. I don't know. Everything looks good. Okay. Well, we'll figure that out as we go. And I did say last time I was going to just start over and make a new file because I was understandably a little nervous on my first stream, messed up a few things. Let's focus maybe a little more on chat than on the game, but that's not a bad thing. It's just need to get practice doing both at the same time. Let's see. Oh, that's just loading in. Okay. And you know what? Maybe I should actually go over the mods really quick just for the VOD viewers and everything. Most of this is just quality of life. You can see all these HD ones. I like to have pretty things. I'm sorry. Some of these, though, better sorting adds in new categories for the items so that when you click through the inventory and sort them, it's a little smarter. I just like that. The backpack borders. I found if you're carrying a black duffel bag, it's purely black, like you can kind of tell here. It's really hard to see the actual icon. And so I got the little border fix mod for that. Let's see, what else do I have? We have auto mechanics. This one, if I get far enough to do mechanics, someone remind me and I'll go over this a little more. It essentially just lets you automate doing the mechanics training actions because you train the skill by uninstalling and reinstalling parts just ad nauseum. It's once per car per part per day kind of thing. So this is just click once and wait, and then I can chat with you guys while my character works on the cars. What else do we have? Big Moodles. I don't know why I'm not getting the preview on this one. It does what it says on the tin. The Moodles are made for very small monitors, or at least normal monitors. They've always been really tiny on mine. I don't even play on 4K. I couldn't imagine doing that. But again, blind, it's nice to have. Let's see, that one just adds more hair. I probably could have figured that out. Has been read, so by default, Project Zomboid does not tell you if you have read a skill book or a recipe book, or if you're partway through reading one. So I like to have this just to have a quick glance and see where I'm at with things. The map symbol slider, that's one's obvious. More trait description. I don't actually remember the difference on this. It's obvious what it does, but I can't think of a case where I could give an example on that one. Plain Moodles, this one I really enjoy. The Moodles usually have 4 different levels. You can kind of see them shown here. And originally a Moodle is just a circle with a slightly more saturated color, green or red, depending on if it's bad. And different flavor text, depending on the level. I'm really bad at telling if it's between 1 and 3, and usually if it's 4, you're just dying, and that's how you can tell. So I like to have this just to be really obvious what level I'm at, and it kind of helps me learn the Moodles a little better. I'm not going to claim to be brilliant at the game. I just enjoy it, and that's why we're playing it while we get used to things and get up on streaming. Reorder containers. This one is another small one. By default, the containers in your inventory will go through the order that you equipped items in. So if you equip a backpack and then you put on a fanny pack, you can't drag them to different orders. And I like to have things in a certain order. So it just helps me feel better. The API, no, that's just a regular API. The vanilla vehicles animated. This one I also really like. It just does a little animation. So it shows like the hood's open on the car here, the door's open. I believe it also shows if the window is open on the cars. So it's nice because that does have a mechanical effect on the game. There are cases where you can get in the car, and I don't know if it's a bug with the mod or if it's an actual thing where the door just stays open, like I got in too much of a hurry, and I feel like a Zomboid could just reach in and bite me a lot easier. So it's nice to have those kind of things. So let's see, we've got that. Okay. And then we're going to go through and do my custom sandbox. I'm going to start off in Riverside, and I'm going to rename it that because I am horrible at remembering which town I started in. You'd think I would remember at this point. Something else I've had to do since the last stream was come in here and copy over my settings. I actually play and use my computer mainly on Linux. So I didn't realize that I didn't have my settings moved over onto Windows, which I reluctantly keep purely so that I can stream and run VTube Studio and all of these things. Let's see, the only thing we really change here though is we do use survival instead of apocalypse. It just, apocalypse feels like I make one mistake and I'm horribly dead, and that doesn't feel like it'd be fun to watch. We do change the starting hour from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. For whatever reason, the skill shows, the Life and Living TV, there is an extra episode of that starts at 5 a.m. on the first day. And so that is, well, first day by default, we're on the 9th day of the infection. Let's see, what else do we do? I changed the gas station amount to full. This is pure cope. I don't get to the point where I would ever exhaust a single gas station, let alone all of them. So this just makes me feel better, but it doesn't really change much. What else do I change in here? Not a whole lot. We do add weapon multi-hit. It could be considered a little cheesy, but it just feels like the game is maybe a bit too punishing if I don't have that. I like to be able to swing a crowbar and hit 3 people if they're all chasing me at once, and it kind of feels realistic. I mean, does a Zomboid have a lot of resistance to being hit? Like, if you hit a person with a crowbar, they would naturally resist, and you wouldn't follow through as easily, but maybe a Zomboid's kind of limp? I'm thinking about this too much. It's not a big deal. Yeah, we keep everything else the same. Zombie lore is the same. Let's see. There's something else in here I thought I changed. Population. No, we're keeping that on normal, so that's good. Okay. Anyway, I've yapped enough about that. I did come through and also make a quick change to the build. I used to take Nutritionist instead of Graceful because, again, it just feels nice to see more info as a newer player, but I wasn't getting to the point where it mattered for anything. And it's not like I have a sticky note reminding me eat X amount of protein per day to get the benefits to exercise XP. So that wasn't going to change anything. But Graceful, which I think the extra trait description is that parentheses down here, that 40% footstep sound radius and that. It's just nice to know more mechanically what's going on. This is very nice though. Just having a lot less noise when you're walking, it feels like night and day, just trying to get from wherever you spawn to the house you want to stay at, or even just the house next door to live a little longer. I feel like I dragged significantly less Zomboids across town using this. But otherwise, it's the same slew we had last time. Dexterous and Fast Reader are just nice to have. It's a single player game, so Fast Reader is more about getting the XP buff earlier, rather than being kind to viewers and yourself in a multiplayer game where you can't fast forward on time. Dexterous is just, it's nice. I'm kind of a loot goblin. I like to carry a lot of stuff. So having 80 different cans of dry goods or whatever, dog food in my backpack, it's nice to drop that twice as fast or 1.5 times as fast. Don't ask me to do math. I'm not going to do math on stream. Outdoorsman, again, this one just feels really busted for 2 points. 90% less chance of catching a cold, especially when if you survive long enough to catch a cold, that's the thing that's probably going to kill you next. But also the significantly, I should say, reduced chance of getting scratched or lacerated running through trees. I used to run through the trees a lot more to try to lose zombies. Now I just kind of walk around the trees, or I just avoid the area entirely. It just feels better, but it's still nice to have. Feels good. And again, Wakeful is just really nice. It's really weird getting used to your character sleeping for maybe 4 hours and being totally fine. But if you get used to doing things in your house from 4 a.m. until 6:30 when the sun starts to come out, or, you know, just getting used to walking around at night, which still feels dangerous to me, then it's really strong. It's a good skill, even though I'm not good enough to really use it yet. So that's the big changes we made there. Again, we are going as Carpenter first. I'm trying to get the rain barrels, and +3 to Carpentry is just a really nice first buff for that. Oh, it did keep a separate one. Okay, well, that's fine. So, oh no, that was the old one. Here we go. Very little changed. I just went over to my old save on Linux side and made sure that I had the exact same character because, I don't know, I wanted to. It's fine. Now let's see what we can get through. See, and just to kind of show it off, there's a lot less letterboxing now. I am so sorry for anyone who has to experience that in the last episode. Although, in a twist of fate, the only person who I think was here to witness that long enough, they had a glitch with Twitch where they couldn't actually see the stream. They just listened the whole time and hung out. It was really nice with them. Shout out to Pixie Sticks. I don't know if they'll be back, but let's see. Oh, nice. We got to start with a television. That's always good to have. Let's get this started. I'm still kind of figuring out the UI again because I did have to change resolutions for a few things, but that's okay. I can get used to that. Bread knife. I'll take it for now. If I need to drop something to make room for anything more useful, then that's not too bad. But tomato. You know what? No. Actually, yeah, we are going to take the beer can just for the thirst. Getting thirsty in the game really drops your stamina regen. Ooh, a pipe wrench. That's a nice early find. And so it's nice to have just any kind of drink, especially since you can only kind of tell. We're starting out in the trailer park in the northwest of town. And so if I bring up the map actually while we're relatively safe, we're here. And if I had to guesstimate, around here, probably, it's probably a little farther, is the house that I like to stay at. Now, the thing that I said earlier, we're starting at 5 a.m., so we got that first fishing episode here, which is really nice. Can I scoot over here? Maybe be a little harder to see. There is still the regular 6 a.m. episode. I don't have a watch. I didn't find anything. So we just zoomed time forward until the cooking episode started. And again, this is just like fishing. I hardly use cooking too much. I need to get far enough into the game where that becomes beneficial for me. But I mean, you don't want to lose out on anything, right? Especially if you're new at a game, especially if you're still getting comfortable. There's nothing wrong with sitting here and watching the TV and then eventually leaving town or, you know, heading out where you need to go. But don't let people talk you down for playing like a weenie, you know? That's how you learn games. I think we've all gotten a little too comfortable with trying to think of the right words for it, but when Dark Souls first came out and everybody was saying how difficult it was and how all these things about it, and now everybody and their dog is playing it just an extreme high level. And I feel like no one's afraid of the game anymore, which is good. It's good to not be afraid of things like video games like that, obviously, you know. But we end up at a point now where if you are afraid of a game or if you are intimidated, that I feel like some people give you mess for that when they shouldn't. Did we get anything good here? Probably not. They saw me, didn't they? Yeah. Alright, it's not worth it. I just wanted to get inside of that trailer, but maybe that was just a bit of ADHD on my part, wanting to go loot the thing. See if I can grab 2 garbage bags. Yep. Pixie 6, you can't see it again? Oh, okay. I've got to... I mean, first of all, thank you for coming back. I know it's New Year's Day, and a lot of people I expected to just be hanging out with their families. But that is odd. You know what? We're gonna pause here. I'm gonna see if I can figure out... Because my preview doesn't work either. But everything in OBS shows just fine. I've got a normal bitrate. I'm not losing any crazy frames here. It's 0%, even though there's a couple numbers there. The Yeah, that's odd. And especially since the last time... Okay, well, wait. I tried. Maybe I'll have to look into that more. I would hate to say that you have to watch the VODs to see what's going on. Maybe I'll have to... I don't want to have to reach out to Twitch support this early to figure out something. Shoot. Can I get inside the back of this ambulance? Take a trauma bag. Yay. The trauma bag is equally as good as a duffel bag in stats. It just looks different. And so this is actually a really nice starting piece of gear to get like this. There was stuff in it. Is there anything? That's all good stuff. Meds, no surprise there. Well, shoot, Pixie, I think you missed it. I was saying at the start of the stream, I learned that the whole time I was playing in ultra-wide, because I use an ultra-wide monitor because my eyes aren't the best. And so the video was letterboxed, which I don't know. Twitch didn't actually save the VOD for that. Speaking of other things I have to learn as a newer VTuber, I didn't realize you had to tell Twitch to save those. So I might have the recording on my PC. I still have to go try to find out where that's being held. But if not, then maybe we have a lost episodes like SpongeBob kind of situation, except it won't be a popular TV series. That'd be nice. But I got that fixed at least. And so we're just evolving slowly over time, just figuring things out. Yeah, that's okay, Pixie. I understand. I mean, as a newer streamer, and it sounds negative, I promise it's not, you kind of get used to the idea that you're going to be streaming to maybe one person, maybe at the most. So it's not too bad. But I'm just grateful you came along and said hi in the first place. I am so puzzled that you still can't see the stream. And I may have to really play with that later, if that's going to be a thing for more than one person. But, I mean, I still want to fix it even if it's just you. But, you know, I'm tripping over words at this point. We're just casually walking through. We spawned in the trailer park. So now we're just making our merry way all the way down the highway to the other end of town. But yeah, anyway, thanks for coming by. And I don't know what time it is where you are. I think you said you were pretty close to where I am. So an early Happy New Year's to you. I won't be on here when it's New Year's for me, but I did learn that at least in GMT time, which is what Twitch bases their achievements off of, we go through midnight. So that one stream I did on Monday counted for streaming on 2 different days at a time. You know, yeah, Pixie, I did want to do dual streaming. I think that might have to wait until next week because I realized that things like making a thumbnail, you think they're simple, right? But no one's making fan art of my character. I've existed for 4 hours as a revealed VTuber, and it would be a little too arrogant to think anybody would do the art like that, because I know Mint Phantom does all of that. So I've got to figure that out. I've got to take some time to get used to doing that. I don't know if it's just a me thing, if it's an autism thing, I should say, but I struggle to do things for the first time. And then after that, it's not a big deal. So maybe it's part of that too, but it's a little bit much to figure out in the couple hours before stream that I had today. Nope, don't get me. Almost walked into a guy. But yeah, I hope your day's going well. Let's see, what else did I cover earlier? We did get some stream alert things set up. I didn't realize that in my chat widget that I have for the just chatting screen that I can't really justify using yet, that part shows when someone follows or subscribes, etc. But I didn't have anything for my gameplay scene, which is why I missed it when you followed for 40 minutes. So now we've got just a cute little stream elements pop up and sound plays that I've got set up here for if that happens. I mean, again, it's New Year's. Maybe it won't happen, but it'd be nice. I'd really like to hit affiliate. I already have one emote built out, and I don't really know fully how the emotes work. Twitch isn't super clear. I think after we hit affiliate, its numbers based on subs, but I don't know how many I get to start with. So maybe it's 1, maybe it's 3, we'll find out. And when we finally get to that point, then I'll just commission whatever ones need to do to fill out those starting slots. But just getting things started up, just, you know, if we learn from our experiences each stream, then I'd like to think things will pick up pretty quickly. So, you know, not too bad. Let's see here. I don't have a watch, so I don't know what time it is in game here. I am a little thirsty. You know what? Maybe it's time to drink a quarter of that beer I stole from the trailer. Not enough, huh? Okay. Drink another quarter of it. This sounds vile. I don't drink in real life. I've smelled a beer once in my life, and I was very young, which might be part of it. Hated the smell of it. Can't deal with it. I don't even like to be around alcohol at this point. I wouldn't say bad experiences, just, you know, growing up in a mid-income area, maybe. High school kids being what they are. Not a lot of reasons to drink, I guess. I don't know. Again, maybe it's a me thing. I'm just gonna jog down the highway here for a little bit. I will say, I really like starting in Riverside. It's just where I'm the most comfortable. I know the buildings the best. And it feels more balanced in terms of Zomboid population. I feel like I think it's Moltra is the smaller town, maybe Rosewood, one of the two. One of them feels like a really rural little town, but it's just drowning in zombies every time I show up. It feels extra difficult for the level of loot I get. The only problem with Riverside is there's 3 or 4 places you can spawn that are very far out of town and give you practically nothing to start with. So yeah, we jogged for a little bit just to get down the highway a little faster. If I don't jog for a good third to half of the run, then we're not going to make it to a house over here in time to get the next episode of Life and Living at noon. But you can see I stopped here. We do have the first level of exertion, and that is usually my sign to stop. Exertion is a Moodle you get when your stamina is below certain thresholds. Don't ask me to quote it, and the game won't show you a stamina bar without a mod, so it doesn't really matter much. But it does also have a pretty big debuff to your damage. And when I get here, I'm going to have to kill at least 1 zombie to get into a house or to keep from being killed by something. You know, we're going to have to defend ourselves at least a little bit. So I don't want to keep running and ruin that. The reason that I have been nursing this beer also along the way is that the thirsty Moodle will also reduce your stamina regeneration. So what I'm trying to really do here the most early on, especially since I've had to run across the entire town, is just keep my stamina up and keep myself in peak condition for when we get to really just any house. We're going to try and come up through these trees here. And then I'm going to crouch because I don't know if I'm still being followed by a couple of them. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm going to come over here. And my understanding is that Build 42 has changed this a little bit with the fence. For some reason, I don't know what exactly they did. They changed something that makes it harder to abuse fence pathing. But in Build 41, if you can manage to... All right. We're going to get a little outnumbered here if I don't keep going. What you do, though, is you try to get them over a fence, and then they're on the ground when they jump over the fence, which means that they're in a perfect place for you to stomp on their head or smash their head in with a weapon. Didn't get lucky there. You saw that I ended up actually getting shoved over by the second zombie that went over the fence. And that is partially affected by my obese trait. There is a higher chance of getting tripped and getting stumbled. You know what? Actually, I wonder if that affects when they attack me over a fence. I'm going to assume it does, because that's the most punishing answer, and that's probably true. So again, we're just going to hang out here and casually walk through the streets. We are exerted again. We don't have any more things to drink, but that's not a big deal at this stage. Especially since we have the graceful feat, or trait, I guess. Thinking with D&D in my brain now. We can get away from the zombies a little easier. Just breaking line of sight, crouching, and walking away is usually enough to do that. There's more people out here than there were last time I did this for testing. Oh, hey, there's just a few behind me. That's not too bad. Getting hungry. We did get a tomato. We'll just eat an entire tomato. It's healthier than most things you've eaten today. Don't question me. I try to eat healthy. It's tough sometimes. Maybe it's also an autism thing. I hate to call everything an autism thing, but every time I go online, people are like, oh yeah, that thing you struggle with on a daily basis, turns out that's an autism symptom. Okay, sure. Yeah, I wish maybe a few other things were. I could blame it on that, but it's just sometimes it's so hard to make myself make food. But if there's something prepackaged, it's like, okay, it's right there. That's easy enough to grab. Or the infamous coffee is breakfast mentality. See, are they still chasing us? Probably not. You can see, even just like that, walking around some trees, going around a fence, just getting far enough out of sight that they stop trying to look for you. So they'll look in the direction of a noise that they hear. Ooh, electronics magazine. And they'll kind of look around for a little bit after they get to the point where the noise was. But if you get too much farther out of sight, they just stop looking again. They're not going to search forever. So it's pretty nice, especially if you have that graceful trait that we took, because that just makes you get a little, you don't have to go as far, I should say, to be out of range. Let's see, do we get anything good here? Pencil, an eraser, some fishing books we don't need yet. We're just going to turn on the TV to Life and Living because I thought I heard a noise. I guess not. Hand torch, we don't need that yet. Oh shoot, I just realized the carpentry show's on. That was perfect timing. To watch woodcraft. Also, I thought I took wakeful. I did. Why am I so tired? Just stamina use, I guess? Probably. Using up your stamina in the game also has that effect. So the more that your stamina regens, the more it fills another invisible bar that dictates when you need to go to sleep. So nice, we got it in time for that. Now, I don't want to go to sleep before we get the next episode. Oh, there's somebody in here. Get on the floor. I don't want to go to sleep before the next episode until we can get a digital watch, because I don't want to miss the 6 o'clock episode. Okay, well, we can't set an alarm with an analog watch, but at least I can know what time it is. Oh, nice. 4 empty bottles. We can fill those, and those will become water bottles to us. I don't have a screwdriver yet. I don't remember if a ball peen hammer can... Well, never mind. I found a regular hammer in here, so we don't have to worry. Let's see. What else do we get? Mop and a sponge. Someone is definitely hitting a door. Ah, here you are. Now, yes, I have a hammer. I could equip it, and maybe I should. I do have the extra damage for short blunt weapons, which you can see over here, because I am the carpenter. However, I do also really want to treasure this hammer. I don't want to risk breaking it. What's the condition? Condition's full, And it's there. Okay, you know what? Yeah, we'll just equip the hammer. Carry it around with us to feel safe. Zoom out here as we go through. Is there anybody in the backyard? Not really. I know it's not the most personal viewing experience if I have to zoom way out, but if you're playing the game, sometimes you just have to zoom way out to see what's going on. It's just gathering information. Again, we're always walking through a door with our weapon already held up. See the gun case in here? You can see the little icons at the bottom of that pop-up. That tells us there's stuff in it and that it's a container. So I can drop it on the floor and then shift scroll down to it. We did find a shotgun. We're not taking the shotgun. Shotguns are bad. And that is not a case of, oh, they are a bad weapon. They are a gun, and therefore guns are bad. It's a Zomboid magnet. You get way too many showing up. If I fired that thing off, the whole neighborhood would turn around and come at me, and that's not too much of an exaggeration. We're just going to steal some garbage bags and kind of loot the house here while we wait for the time to hit for the next episode. Take a red pen. I don't have one of those yet. Trying desperately not to just steal everything I can find because I want to. I do want to find tools though. Any tools I can get here are going to be very nice early on. Just going to put some of this stuff in our bag. Get some weight recovery off of this. I should just be going straight from the bag here like this. Yeah, the duffel bags and any other bag you can wear, like there's a school bag, there's a large backpack. All of those are good because they don't just give you a bigger inventory. They also reduce the weight of items in it, which they don't show you here. I'd have to take it off to show. Yeah, maybe that gets quoted out of context. I would have to remove the backpack to mouse over it and show what effect it has on the carry weight. But it's some percentage-based number thing. It's not super clear. So it doesn't do a big... It wouldn't be a big deal if I show it or not. Did I get cooking? I do have the cooking book already. Alright, let's set the alarm. It is already set, but that's fine. I'm going to set this for 1750. Yeah. And then that should be in our inventory. It is. It is significantly heavier than the wristwatch. But that's okay, because now, after I'm done looting this room, which is conveniently the last one in the house for me, I can take a quick nap. And then I have this alarm to wake me up so that we don't miss the next episode of our show. Just trying to loot anything medical here. I think I had tweezers in the bag. I do. Tweezers are another one of those really important pieces of equipment. So we're going to close the door here. I don't think turning... Oh, I bet the lamps are on. Yeah. All right. We're going to sleep in here. Tweezers, scissors, screwdrivers. Oh gosh, that's loud. That's so loud. Stop the alarm. Hope that nobody else heard that. Did I drop it? Where'd it go? Okay. It's behind the bed. You can kind of see it. All right, we're just going to crouch walk downstairs. And we're going to turn on the television. Because I don't want to miss my shows. But yeah, tweezers, screwdriver, hammer, a saw, anything that you could classify as a tool. Pipe wrench is a big one. Regular wrench is nice. Any of those, they're not super heavy. You kind of just want to grab them as soon as you see them, because those are going to allow you to use a skill in the first place. Like without a hammer, a saw, and a screwdriver, you can't do 100% of carpentry. I think a hammer and a saw is enough to do most of the early things, but screwdrivers are for certain items like building doors, I believe. Disassembling certain types of furniture, take a screwdriver, things like that. So you want to try and grab those early on because they practically unlock the skill for you. Then there are other things like guns, which weigh way too much and absolutely do not help you in the slightest for the first probably 30 days minimum, unless you're really good at the game. In which case, ignore everything I'm saying because that's not true for any of that. But that's not what we're about. All right, now I am very hungry and at least somewhat thirsty. So let's finally go raid the kitchen. What do we have over here? Saucepan with rice. Ooh, we got a can opener. This is another piece of gold. Most of the non-perishable food that you find in Project Zomboid is going to be canned. And that I feel like that's a trope of a lot of survival genre, is just canned food. Sometimes if we're lucky, we can find an already cooked steak in the oven. We did not get that lucky today. Yeah, like there's some canned goods here. We may as well just grab a couple of those. And then I'm going to see, what can I do with this? We can add some things out of the fridge. So we're just going to add some extra ingredients to this. It's not going to add a whole ton of hunger value, I guess, because calories are a separate thing. But it's nice to have a little bit extra. And then we will cook this. And then we will speed up time while it cooks. How much does this give now? 39? Okay. No, I don't want to add more stuff. Eat. Probably should have eaten a half of it, but it doesn't slow us down too bad. I'm actually going to leave that as it is. The first level of hunger doesn't affect you in build 41. So it's just more of a warning moodle of, hey, your character's about to be pretty hungry and start to lose carry weight, and I think damage also. Nothing else fits in the bag. I'm going to take the granola bar. I'm going to try not to be greedy. So we'll keep our hammer out. And now we know this house is pretty safe. Oh, never mind. Somebody was bashing on the window and I didn't hear them. We get anything good? We got a jacket off you. That's always nice to have. I hear zomboids somewhere. I don't see zomboids though. Oh, that window's already open. And not in the way a zomboid opens windows, which is by breaking them. I don't think that means anything, but... just come through here. You want to close curtains first so that zomboids don't see you when they're outside of the house. And if that's making noise, this is the volume. And the volume does matter. The noise mechanic is something that they don't really tell you too much, but is very intuitive. If the TV's making a lot of noise, it's going to drag zomboids in from farther away. Yeah, and I thought I saw this here. Okay. The radio does not have the emergency frequency, so we're going to ignore the radio. It's still the early game, so... oh, nice, we found a fresh salad. 60 hunger. What is this salad made of? Okay, we're gonna really weigh ourselves down, picking up a bunch of food here. I don't think this is... there we go, now it's organized. That's a little better. No, we're not going to cook the salad. We're going to cook this, though. Alright, that bowl of soup is cooked. We're just going to eat that whole thing here. And we're going to keep the bowl because a lot of the cooking recipes are limited or gated by having a bowl or a stirring device or things like this. Like you can't make pancake mix for pancakes without a spoon or a fork. I'm going to zoom time a little bit. There we go. See, we're still pretty overburdened, but it's not terrible. I do want to fill one of my empty bottles. Let's see, do we have anything in the fridge of value? We could steal an entire stick of bologna. Oh shoot, and I've already missed an episode of the show because I'm a goofball. I've got to be more on top of that. It's not a big deal. We tend to be a little over-leveled for everything by the end of the first week if we get through that far. Ooh, a crowbar. That is perfect. Now we don't need to worry about wasting the hammer's durability. And we got a saw. I am a little too overburdened at this point. I should probably put something down so I'm not taking steady but small health damage. I'm feeling a little greedy. I really want to get into the house just down the block here. This house in this neighborhood that we're just kind of peeking into. Because that is where I like to live. But if I'm thinking rationally, I should put the pot of soup on the ground. That's heaven. That's better. All right. What do we have? Oh, it's out of gas, but everything's in good condition. It's not locked. The key is in the car. Okay, so it's out of gas. But now that we know this is here, we can open up our map. Come over here. Is there a symbol for car? I thought there was. I always lose track of where these are. Well, there we go. Now we know that when we get some gas, we can come back and take that car. Oh, there's a few of them over there. All right, we're just going to crouch and walk away slowly. Oh, whoops. Walked on the other side of the fence. You can jump the fence normally, but I did take the obese trait, which makes it even harder to jump over the fence than normal. Our stamina is fine, but we do have a bit of a heavy load. So we're slightly over our carry weight here, and that is going to still dramatically reduce our chances of getting over the fence anyway. So I just walk around. I feel like especially early on playing Project Zomboid, patience is just the lesson to learn. And it only gets worse when you try to make it entertaining and play the game to, for other people to watch. Because you're always like, oh, I should be doing something at all times. This would make for uncomfortable viewing. But no, the game is a cozy game despite being in constant dread. We got a small pack of them over there. Don't see anybody behind us. Let's zoom in real quick. I don't think I see a generator inside here. Let's just see. See if we can get one at a time here, kind of clear out this area. This is the house that I want to take over. Not because it's any better than another house. I'm just used to the layout. I'm used to knowing what I like to do in here, how I like to organize it. So, a little bit of me just being stuck in a habit. Nobody around the back. But we do have that little group of zomboids over here on the right. And I want to get rid of them, because if we make any noise in the house, they're gonna... Okay, it's maybe not a small group. Maybe it's a moderate group. We got the one guy's attention, see him, so we're gonna just stand over here and wait. We're gonna hope that that's normal movement and not them being attracted to noise. I don't see them coming through. Yeah, it looks like they are just hanging out in the hedge. We'll probably grab at least one or two with the noise of breaking this guy's head open. Nothing nice on him. Yeah, it looks like a few of them saw us. 3 is a bit of a crowd, but nothing we can't handle with a crowbar and some decent stats. We're not hungry or tired or sleepy, so our damage is going to be pretty decent. And of course, someone over there has decided to attack the window instead of us. Doesn't he know that's going to be our house? Guys, I think he broke that from inside. Yeah, they did. There were zombies already inside. Still not a big deal. We can fix that. It is getting very dark out, though. It's 11:30 at night. Maybe that's why. Alright. Especially after you kill a few zomboids, always just turn around. Make sure there's nobody behind you. You gonna get jump scare noise? No, nobody there. Someone's hitting a door, though. We don't want to try to go in a window at this point. It's kind of active around the house. We want to just get a grip on where the zomboids are at. Okay. So I did that because we checked all the doors. There wasn't anyone inside trying to beat down on an external door, which means they're in here trying to break down an internal door. Yep, there they are. How did I not see you looking through the other side of this door? Oh well, sometimes the vision's a little funny. And she had a key ring on her. We do have to drop that to look into it, but then we'll take the key. And when you take the key off a zombie, anything in the house that could have been locked, you now have the key to, and you just automatically unlock it. There's an alarm going off somewhere. Stop that alarm. That's not helping us get zombies out of this house. Neither, for that matter, is the TV downstairs playing very loudly, which is probably part of why that crowd was there. And now we can tell it's probably a... Oh, nope. Usually, the door visibly shakes when there's a zombie hitting it. I don't know why I didn't see it that time. I was going to say we could tell that they're in a closet based on the fact that none of the doors were shaking, but that is wrong and would in fact make me a liar. Just going to keep sneaking our way through the house, clear out all the rooms. At 12:40 a.m., but we don't have the modal that we're tired because of the wakeful trait. And we haven't really done, despite all of this, a whole lot of real exercise that would cause our stamina to go down and need to be refilled. So the bar pushing us towards sleep isn't getting sped up by anything. Yeah, definitely need to turn that off. That was so loud you could hear the TV in the game. They have this sort of Charlie Brown wah 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 TV noise that they do when it's loud enough. Okay, we want to remove the broken glass here. And that's in case we need to make a quick getaway. Like, I don't know, 4 zomboids appear behind me and all I have is the broken window in front. I want to have cleared that out ahead of time. Now this, what I like to do here is I like to have this bookshelf be all of my skill books and all of my recipe magazines. This one I like to have all my regular entertainment media and VHS tapes. Mechanics 2 is a very nice book to find, but we still need Mechanics 1. There it is. Okay, and the window is shut. That's good. Well, the curtains are shut. All right, then we're just going to come over here, close out the curtains. And then I'm just going to get this place organized the way I like it. Just kind of get some stuff out of the way here. Oh no, please don't start dragging my inventory. That will throw me off so badly. Okay. That's just junk. We'll get rid of that. All of the non-perishable foods can go in here. I like to make this shelf all the cleaning and medicine stuff. And you could kind of see it earlier when we were making the rice ingredients in that other house. The crafting system can pull from your from nearby inventories, so it kind of has a built-in craft from chest kind of deal going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear it. Thanks for showing up. I know it's New Year's and everything, but still happy to see anyone coming by. Let's see. Yeah, we can get the cooking put away. What else do we have here? This is going to be our crafting box. It's just me in real life walking around my kitchen at 2 a.m. just moving things around because I don't know what else to do. That's not true. We do need to get this place organized. Because the sooner your base is organized, the sooner you can just walk around and know exactly where things are at, exactly what you need to do. We're a little hungry. No, we'll eat like a quarter of this salad real quick. And then this sink is usually where I keep all of my beverages. And then I just realized, of course, that we have a whole bag of other stuff to put away. This is what's really nice about Project Zomboid, though. As much as walking around town and trying desperately to avoid Zomboid attention or, you know, being seen at all is stressful, it's nice that you just have moments where you're just in your base, just hanging out, organizing things, cleaning, counting the cans that you've collected, because for some reason that makes me happy. Just like the scavenging aspect. I have failed to close some curtains. Oh no. We'll fix that. It's just the idea of like collecting lots of things, especially useful stuff like canned goods. Just, I don't know why, it's a nice feeling. Close the curtains here. See, I think that was pretty much all of that. We do have the one roasting pan out for decoration. I'm just going to store the other one away. We have some books, some tools. I'm going to place the bread knife down here. Just like with crafting, the tools that you put around you can also just be used if they're nearby. So decorating them, putting them on the counter, stuff like that. It's not just me wanting the base to look nice. It's also perfectly usable in this scenario. Okay, let's see. So we've got some bandages on us. I think all that's fine. We're going to refill all of our water bottles. I think I moved before I finished them all. Whoops. Okay. Where did the other three go? Ah, there they are. And then we're just going to store these down here. So eventually, and I know I'm explaining a lot of things that if you're watching someone play Project Zomboid, you probably know all of this already. But in Project Zomboid, eventually, the staff that are doing the work at the water facility or the power facility are going to become zomboids and also die. And therefore the water is going to shut off at some point, and so is the power. Now these are both set to 0 to 30 days by default. And so it could happen pretty much at any time. But that's why we want to get every water bottle we find filled up and saved and stored away, so that if it does happen before we manage to get our carpentry skill high enough to make the rain barrels, then, you know, we've got a little bit of water that we can rely on while we're still getting that last bit of skill up and waiting for rain, because once we make the rain barrel, it has to rain so that we can actually fill that up. And now I'm just kind of looting the house. It's not like it's got a big impact on game performance, but I like to have all the junk out of the house. Just knowing there's nothing hanging out in here that's either useful or would just annoy me for existing. Things like that. Plus, especially in these, you never know when you're going to find a nice backpack. The cooler clothes, I would definitely pull apart. The pillows, I think the pillow is used in crafting for new mattresses, which we don't really need to worry about, but I'm still inclined to save it just in case. I'm going to also take this alarm clock. We're going to get rid of that. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good New Year, spending time with family, or in my case, just hanging out. I'm not really big on staying up anymore for the year changing over, so we don't tend to do that too often, but it's still nice. We're not really big on parties or anything, so we just kind of have a good time. It's just an extra cozy day, maybe. Anything here? Ooh, we got scissors. That's going to be nice. Scissors are a big tool for the tailoring skill. They let you rip apart the denim and the leather clothing. Do you have anything on you? Yeah. And so like I'm doing here, this right click rip clothing, you can do that with the regular stuff, and that will occasionally give you thread, if I can find them in here. And whenever you get thread, that's when you get the actual experience for tailoring, which is going to be so small we're not going to see it. Yeah, we have 1/4 of a point in tailoring right now. But we do want to get that so we can... Sorry, I'm trying to think and do things at the same time. I'm still needing to practice that. We need to tear up regular clothes, and we can do that by default. But we also need to tear apart fancier clothes, like this leather jacket that I thought she had. Or did I already tear that up? I may have already torn that up. Yeah, I did. You can see the leather strips here. Can I grab the corpse? There we go. We need this out of the house too. But yeah, we do want to try to get some tailoring experience as soon as possible. It's more to fill in the time than anything else. But eventually that lets you do better patchwork on like filling in holes in your clothing, because they can get holes from being damaged or attacked or tripping on stuff. Eventually you can add armor padding to your clothes using leather or denim strips, and those will give an extra little % of insulation at higher levels. So it also helps when it's either too hot or too cold out. Let's see. Just going to do a little more organizing around here. Yeah, my pens are over there, so we're going to drop these off. We're going to put those in a zombie. Let's get some books put on a shelf next. It's 5:30. I need to remember to watch the show. Did we get any duplicates? No duplicates yet. Hey, that's pretty nice. We do have some crafting stuff. I am still watching the time. I am going to do my best not to miss this episode also. Yeah, we're going to put all that away. Put the soap on the cleaning shelf. We're going to keep... yeah, we'll drop the needle and the lighter. The hand torch we don't really need for anything. That's going to be more for electronics experience when we just start disassembling those. Okay, good. And the TV here is set. All right. All right. We're going to get through that. There we go. Now we got the cooking show again. And I know I haven't really explained it much. You can kind of tell probably by this point what that's doing. The TV shows give you flat XP amounts. So if we look over at cooking, I didn't have this 122-ish cooking when we started. So it's nice to catch the shows because it replaces, in some cases, like for cooking, an extreme amount of time on... Oh, that's just what I killed. A pretty extreme amount of time trying to grind up for this. And they only play for the first week, and then afterwards you can find them as VHS tapes, but unless we go raiding a VHS store, I just put those in the cooking drawer, darn it. Unless we go specifically raiding a store to find it, it's going to be kind of rough to come by. And because those stores are often in the middle of town, it's stale, so it's going to make us a little unhappy, but I'm going to eat it anyway. But yeah, because those stores are always in the middle of town, they tend to have a lot of zombies hanging around. Plus, it's not a big priority for us yet. Gonna make sure to stay topped up on water at all times. Water bottle here is still good. That is a hammer, but I'm already holding one, so we are gonna toss this as well. I am also putting all of my trash inside of a zombie, because when those decay, they'll destroy the items inside of them because the inventory will disappear. Kind of makes them out to be convenient trash cans. Let's take a look. Oh, that's quite a few over there. And so you can see right here, because of the mod, there is one level of hunger, but it's green. So now we are one level of positive food. If you start to eat more, then you'll get extra carry weight. You'll get, I think, a little more damage. I know healing factor goes up. So that's a big one if you start to get hurt from anything. Just gorging yourself on food can get you through a cold or healing a big laceration or something. Or broken bones. That's another big one. Hey, one of those guys had a party hat. That's nice. I bet it's a birthday party event in here. That's one of those meta events you can get. Ooh, we're going to steal that watch. And then we're finally going to drop this classic wristwatch we've had the whole time. Can I open it up? All right, I can. Oh. No, not in here unless it's in a different room. Usually, if there's a party, then the living room... all right. No, we're just going to let him in. We don't want him to break the window. No, you know what it is? I bet they're in the backyard having a party. That's a little dangerous, but let's just come out here, zoom out. What do we got? Nobody? I guess they're inside the house making that racket. Okay. No, he's at the front door. All right, we're going to break a rule here. We're going to make some noise and run across. And then did you notice how that took a few more hits to get through than it did on the other times? That is actually because we have one level of drowsy here. Drowsy is another big one that lowers your damage. It's not going to tell you that. I only know all of these things because I was trying to make a script to do an intro to Project Zomboid video, which I still want to try to get done at some point. But that is a much bigger project than I thought it was going to be. I still need to learn video editing, dealing with all this stuff. And honestly, we're just going to take things a little slow, especially while there's not really a lot of people here yet. There's no reason to rush. There's no reason to beat ourselves up trying to make all the content and do all the things. That is something I see a lot. People tend to be really down on themselves, especially if they're newer content creators, and say things like, well, you know, why I can't do all this, I can't do all that. And some beef jerky and rice, that's appetizing. We'll add some cheese in there. That actually does sound like something I would do and then unironically eat. You know, people get so down on themselves for not being able to do 100% of content creation right off the bat. And it is, one, very difficult and very overwhelming to do all of this on your own. But on the other hand, anybody that you look up to that's doing this has been doing content creation for years already. They've had the time that you're going through now, just like I am, where, you know, you're still struggling to figure out, oh, why do some people can't see my Twitch page for some reason? Or, you know, you're figuring out, how do I do video editing, things like this. And they've had the time to go through all of that, but you didn't see any of it. And so you don't really think about it. Just think people need to be a little more patient with themselves and a little more forgiving. Let's see, do we have anything great? I want to take every piece of canned food in here, but that is a waste of our inventory space right now. What we're looking for the most... I wonder if I missed an episode. Shoot. No, don't change the... Well, that doesn't matter. I want to set the alarm, though. Okay, I'm going to set that to 11:50 so that if I start to talk again, I will not get too distracted to the point where I miss another episode. Come on, buddy, put the book in the bag. There we go. But yeah, people just get too down on themselves. They're not patient enough. It's going to take time. Especially, all of the VTubers I watch talk about, weirdly enough, it's always a decade. Both Limes and Joel, who like, I'm only talking positive things and yet I'm still terrified to name drop. So hopefully this is fine. But, you know, both of them talk about how they'd been doing content creation for years before they blew up to the extent that they did. Like, don't get me wrong, they were still doing great the whole time. But for them to be, at least in my opinion, sort of a household name when it comes to VTubers, that took a long time to get to. And so just starting out, you have to remember, hey, that's going to take a long time for you too, probably. And you can definitely stand on the shoulders of giants a bit and learn from the lessons that they have. Like, oh, you should be making shorts all the time. You should be doing this and that and all the other things. And that's still overwhelming. It's going to be just a process of exercising the muscle to figure out how to do that without feeling burned out. And I'd love to tell you more about it, but I'm going through that myself. So I can't really give too much better advice. I'm still following my own advice when it comes to these things. And it's just the generic advice, you know, be patient. Don't be too down on yourself. Oh, hey, you were, speaking of patient, he was not even attacking the door. I'm not that quiet. Oh, take those vitamins and that soap. I think we already got the key to this house, but I'm going to take it again anyway. Please. There we go. Then we got military boots. These are nice. I am also going a little quick with that, but if you mouse over equipment in this game, like the jacket, you can see this one has worse defenses. We got this one off of a corpse, and so it's already got holes in it. If I inspect it, you can probably see it's just destroyed. But you can get the usual like MMO style plus or minus defense numbers and damage and things. But you know what? We're going to take the earbuds because we can disassemble pretty much anything in the electronics category. And later on, we're going to want to hit electronic skill level 2 so that we can hotwire a car. We got really lucky and we found a car early on that had the keys in it and is in basically perfect condition, which is amazing for this game. But it's out of gas. So we're going to have to get gas cans and go siphon gas out of other cars and then go fill that up. But usually you want electronics 2 and mechanics 1 because that is what it takes to hotwire cars. And that way you just need a screwdriver. You don't need to worry about finding the key. Because if the key doesn't spawn on somebody, like if you don't get really lucky and there's a Zomboid with the key on them already, which can happen for car keys, but it's pretty rare, and you don't find the keys spawned inside of the house or sitting on the ground outside of the car itself, because sometimes you can just hold your inventory open like this, and you'll kind of see a little key on the ground, but it's really hard to see. You can just go around and like look for it that way. But if it's not pre-spawned, you're not going to find it. Remove broken glass. Do not climb through. Let's see. Riding boots, I think, are the same. Yeah, no changes there. We already got a propane torch, I believe. Yeah. So we've got that. Take the garbage bag, though. Those are always nice. But as I was saying, yeah, if you don't find the key and you're not lucky enough for it to spawn, you're not going to find the key. It's not just going to happen somewhere. So being able to hotwire cars is usually a pretty big first step for all of that. Now we're going to come back over to our little pile of tools on the floor, put that down. And again, so you can see we've found a house that we want to live at. And there's a map tool you can look up online, like Project Zomboid, Build 41 map. And there's a whole web browser system. You can like scroll through and look at the whole map of the game because it's all one map no matter where you spawn. And I just found this house that I like to live at. So I already knew where I was going to go. But you find the house, you get there, and you start making sure that your food and things are taken care of. And then you start slowly exploring a little farther away at a time until eventually we're secure enough that we can go make a run for like the school would be good because there's a school northwest of here, not too far off. And that has, as you might imagine, a lot of books in it. So if we don't find a carpentry book while we're cleaning out the house and making our neighborhood a little safer, then we can head over to the school and try to find it there. Find anything really good here? Oh. Shush. Yeah, we'll put those away. I know that was the alarm to go and watch our show. Just going to try to drop a few things on the way there. Yeah, all right. That's the other nice part about having the digital watch. It's a lot quieter than the alarm, like the alarm clock. And so it's not going to set in a bunch of zomboids around you if you use it to wake up from a nap. But it's also nice because the UI up here, you can click and toggle the alarm on and off. You can't right click and set alarm from here, which I really wish I could do. You still have to go find it in your inventory. But if the alarm is running, you can also click that like I did earlier, and it'll turn off the alarm. 1650, yeah. Sorry, I am American. It's going to take me a half a second if I have to do 24-hour clock time to figure out when to set the alarms. So sorry about that. I think I knocked my desk with my cup. I hope that wasn't too loud. That's the other thing. I guess I would give advice for new people starting out. And I'm not going to go the cringe route of making 100 different, new to VTuber tutorial stuff, even though the temptation is there. Going through anything that you have to learn this much stuff for, especially when you usually learn it painfully or annoyingly, is your first instinct is usually to teach everyone else about it so they don't have to go through that, right? I mean, the first person that went to the DMV probably told all his friends, bring a magazine, you know. They're not that bad anymore, but the mentality is still there. You get what I mean. But no, there's enough of that material out there. I don't need to make any for people. But I would say, always have some water next to your desk. You think you talk a lot. You don't talk a lot. Unless you're working at a call center or you're just naturally very yappy as a person, you don't talk as much as you're going to talk on stream. And I'll be honest, this time around, I've tried to pull back a little bit. I think I was a little bit nervous to let the air be silent in my first stream, which is also normal and that's going to happen. But even then, like, I can still kind of feel it. I'm not going to say words tomorrow. I am going to say maybe 5 things, and I'm probably just going to pull up my phone and type things in text whenever I need to talk to my wife. While we're doing that, I just wanted to cook some of this stew up. It's got boredom, but we don't need to worry about it yet. We're just going to eat this soup. And that is hunger. It's not thirst for some reason. Stew, I feel like stew should make you not thirsty. You know? Maybe that's me. Anyway, let's go ahead and just get a drink then. Am I not drinking from my bag? Maybe I'm not. I thought that I could drink out of a water bottle automatically in a bag. You know what, actually, while we're here... Yeah, automatically drink water when thirsty. I've got it set, so that shouldn't be a problem. We'll see about that. Let's see, what else do we need to do? We still have 4 to 5 hours. Just got our usual slew of medicine here. We do need to drop this magazine. It's not really taking up space, but I mean, we're home. We should drop it off. Tell you what we have to do, though. We are very tired. This is dropping our damage by, I think, 50 to 70%. I forget what it is for the 3rd level. And that's a big one. So we could go exploring for 4 hours, but it'll take us 12 swings to kill a zombie. So instead, we're going to nap, and we're going to rely on our wonderful digital watch to wake us up. There's another thing I've kind of been going past without explaining too much. And the alarms do wake up your character when you're sleeping, if they're on your inventory. I think they do if they're also near you, but I've never tested, so I'm not really too sure. TV's on, come on. Okay. While that's going, let's see, we have Electrician Volume 1. We don't have any carpentry books. Yeah, Electrician Volume 1 is going to be the big one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit on the floor here for my stamina's sake. We're going to read this book, and we're going to let this play. Oh. And then I realized I set my alarm for an hour earlier than I should have been. So we're going to wait an hour while we read. And then the show is going to start, which explains why it wasn't playing before. I'm a goof. And now you can kind of benefit from both. For some reason, you can just read a book and get all the info out of it, and also watch a show and get all the info out of it simultaneously. I'm not the type. I can multitask, but only to keep my brain from fidgeting. So I will have second monitor content. I'll have other videos going. But it's more because if I try to play, I don't know, a game like Minecraft or something, then if just the silence, not even the background music is enough. I have to have someone, almost always someone talking, actually, in my ear. And I'm not sure what that's about. Also, that lovely little sound means that we have just leveled up in farming in this case, which is also what this means because it's green right here. We'll go ahead and turn the TV off. So the TV does just give you XP. You can kind of see it here as well. If I put over here the multiplier 0.6, the books, what they do is for 2 skill levels, they will give you, depending on how much of the book you read, up to 3 times experience gained in that level until you hit the 2nd level of the book. Go ahead and get this set up. At least this one's easy enough. This is 550. I know what that is. That's the same on both. Let's see, we're decent on food, 6:50 p.m. We got everything else going. All right, we're going to go explore another house. So we pretty much went through that whole house up here. I'm going to check over here. And we're just going to check across the street. Now, we're not going to do this for every house in the neighborhood, but what I like to do is I like to at least check a house around me in pretty much every direction, because you can clear out all the zomboids in them. You know, then if you accidentally make noise in your house or something happens, or heaven forbid you do what every VTuber I've seen has done, and what I've done multiple times, instead of hitting W to move forward, you hit Q, which the tutorial lovingly calls the button for the cure. It is not the cure, it is the button to shout. So if you clear out all the zomboids in your immediate area, there's less of a chance that you just, you know, call for help, so to say. But yeah, once we clear out a few houses around us, then we're a little more free to explore farther. And clearing out the houses in our immediate area gives us a chance to find different pieces of gear or equipment we might need, different tools. Finding a lot of propane torches, that's very kind to us. We need to find a propane tank now, and a welding mask, and then we can do metalworking. But the part about metalworking is that takes a magazine to be really useful for most of our cases. Just casually get rid of this guy here. Yep, you can hear someone else is hitting a door. They aren't out front. It's a little quiet for down here, yep. I'm going to keep that door closed so that nobody sees us while we're walking through the house, at least in the backyard. Yep, and you can kind of see here, see the door jitter like that? That means a Zomboid's hitting it. Oh. Why could we see the door before seeing the Zomboid? This game's a little funny sometimes. Vision is weird in video games, but especially in Zomboid. We are starting to get hungry enough to be affected, so our carry weight is a little reduced. Can we get emergency? Oh, darn it. Okay. I thought I heard a zombie hitting a window. I don't think so. I think that was just the background noise. Yeah, I really want to find a radio that has the emergency frequency on it. That lets you get weather alerts every 15 minutes, I think. Half hour or something like that. Oh, that's a very busted up crowbar. We don't care about that. But it also gives you a special alert that, and I feel like everyone knows about this part of the game already. It gives you an alert notification if that's the day that the helicopter is going to come by. Nice. We're going to take this fanny pack here, and I like to name it writing utensils. We're also going to put it there, and then we're just going to take our writing utensils here. We're going to put it over there. Then we clean up our inventory a little bit, make things a little nicer. Oh gosh. Oh, you two got separated and you were trying to get back together. Oh, that's so sad. I guess I've reunited them in a manner of speaking. 8:20. Oh, that's right. We watched the show and then we headed out, so. Sometimes time just flies in this game, and sometimes I feel like it just drags, and it really throws me off. I'm like, did I watch the show before we left? Yes, you've only been in this house for an hour-ish in game time. Let's see, let's just kind of check through the bookshelves, see if we can find any good skill books. Nothing we don't already have. I doubt there's going to be anything in here we really want, but we should look. We don't need any of that. Okay. Well, let's continue on then. We are, we're a little hungry. Let's just take some food out of here. Plus, we still need to close the windows. Can opener, butter knife. No. Got some fruit jam. That's really nice. Please put it in the bag. Just put the jam in the bag, little bro. I like pretending like I know what memes are. Let's see. Get all these canned goods. Olive oil's nice to have. I guess we're just taking everything out of the kitchen here at this point. That's fine. Ooh, empty gardening spray can. That'll be helpful to us later. And then we're going to take all the frozen goods out of here. And now we're going to just kind of jog across the street. And make sure to use this right click. If you right click and drag to the end, that's how I'm seeing farther than the screen normally does. You can have a setting to turn that off, but I don't know why you would. But just in case anyone wondered, that's how you do that. And as another very important trick to surviving a little longer in Project Zomboid is just looking farther ahead of yourself when you're walking. Right, so we've got these frozen goods. We're going to put them in the freezer. The freezer does actually matter versus the fridge for these things. I've been carrying a pan full of food this whole time. Okay, well, you know what? Now we have more canned goods. It's just fine. The jam is apparently non-perishable. I don't believe that. I don't think if I found a can of jam, or a jar of jam, I guess. It doesn't say. Wait, does it? Where is it? Now I gotta know. It does not, but the icon's a jar. I'm gonna call it a jar. If I found a jar of jam that was just hanging out for a month or something, or longer probably, I don't think I'd eat it. I don't think that feels safe. Did I check this drawer? I guess I did. This is my little gardening section. It's usually where I put that stuff. How much food do we have? 32 in this. We could probably eat half of it and be covered. Not quite. Again, just like everything else, the hunger isn't the most obvious. I tried really hard to find info on that for the video I want to do, and I couldn't find anything very specific on like the numbers for just the hunger. You can find numbers for calories, you can find numbers for all the other macronutrients the game gives you, like the fats and the proteins and the carbs, but it doesn't give you just, hey, your character's hunger is 100 or something, you know. And the Moodle shows up at these numbers, so you can say, oh, I've got 2 hunger, Moodle, so therefore, I don't know, I need to eat like 40 food or something to fix it. We did check this house. No, we did not. People have just already busted in, and it looks like someone checked the house. We will happily take those keys, though. Ooh, we need the sheet, which I should be putting over here. Take the empty jars. Anything in here? Not really. Metalworking is nice, but I'm leaving behind a lot of the metalworking stuff because it just takes too long in the early game for it to start paying off. And it's very heavy, so we just don't need it yet. Turn that off. Loud TV, we don't need that. Yeah, this is where the parties people were at that were over at the house up northwest of here. Why is everything northwest to me in this game? I am going to get very used to that. All right. So the carpentry book, it's not marked because we already have level 4 carpentry, and level 1 carpentry book only does up to level 2 carpentry bonus. But if we die, we can re-roll another character. And if we happen to have made the rain barrels already, maybe we'll roll somebody who doesn't know carpentry as much. Just so we can get, I don't know, a jump start on metalworking or electrical, which both aren't terribly useful skills, but they're an example. And so if we do that, then we can keep the carpentry book for new versions of our character. Well, new people. They're not new versions of us. Maybe that's just philosophical. That's beyond the point of this. Nothing fancy in here. I want to start stealing everything that says crafting on it. I know we have cooking volume 1. I don't know if we got electrician volume 3, so I'm just going to take it. Anything in the satchel? No. 3 crowbars, and they're all in perfect condition. I will just take those. Yeah, the reason I'm so happy to have the crowbar is it, for some reason, is just the perfect mix of shows up with usually a high level of durability or condition, and it's got really good damage. The durability drops pretty slow compared to other tools, or at least it feels like it does. And you can find it pretty frequently, just in tool shelves and garages. It feels like it shows up all over the place. So it's a really nice sort of early game drop. It feels like that. Feels like that one card in Magic that you lose all of your games to because it feels unbalanced. Except in this game, there's no other situation where it could possibly be balanced. Ooh, we got a duffel bag, but we already have the trauma bag. I'm going to take it because it's nice to have containers. If we live really long for some reason and we end up finding another home, then it would be nice to be able to put stuff in duffel bags and then put those duffel bags in the car just to move stuff a little faster to wherever we would live next. Same deal, we're just going to raid this kitchen. I don't think the meat cleaver has a separate use, but I'm going to take it because I want it. Ooh, bread. In a cabinet? Why do they just keep their bread in the... Who keeps their bread in a cabinet? I know people who keep it in the fridge, which is weird, but I understand what they think that it does, what it might do. It has never made bread last longer for me. That's all on my point is. I keep it in the pantry, and if you keep it in the pantry with the light off, it lasts several weeks. And I know that sounds terrifying. I was kind of weirded out too when I just kept checking the bread and it looks perfectly fine. There's nothing there. I'm not the type of person to eat anything that looks half gone. So it's not like, oh, it's just a little moldy. It's like, no, it was perfectly normal. However, saying that, Project Zomboid does use the fridge to reduce the speed at which things that are perishable perish. Oh, we're going to put the chicken in the freezer, though. What is making that alarm go off? Where is that? Is that up here? No. I'm not carrying one. Is it in a house nearby? Did I put it on that zombie outside and not turn the alarm clock off? No, that one's turned off. Sorry, that freaked me out. Anytime an alarm goes off in this game, it feels like a time bomb. Because you never know how many zomboids are nearby that it's gonna pull. Shoot. That is on you. Stop that. Gosh, that is so loud. Okay. Set the alarm. That one's fine. So this one, yeah, turn that off. Okay. Then we're going to put both of those over here. Okay. And now we're going to safely go back to putting away all of our stuff. It's not too bad this time. This went off right next to our house, which is always scary, but we've already killed a lot of the zombies pretty close to us. There was that group up, well, mostly just west of us at this point. And they may have heard, not you, the fridge. They may have heard something, but probably not. We'll find out, I guess. Okay. So make sure I'm putting things where they actually go. And then this one over here is going to be the extra weapons cabinet. Let's see. Did I put a sheet on the door in here? I did not yet. Close those curtains, get everything nice and blocked off. Yeah. We're a little tired. We're a little hungry. The tired is just because we've been carrying around heavy stuff, and that is going to also drain our stamina. The hunger is just over time. I'm just going to drop a duffel bag here. It doesn't have to go anywhere special. The empty jars and the jar lids, which we find separately, those will end up being, I think those are mostly just for canning recipes so that you can make canned food of your own, which is really nice. If you get far enough into farming, then you can actually make that stuff last longer. Just going to finish this off. Okay. You know what, chat? I am so sorry. We are actually going to get some use out of one of the new scenes. I will be right back because I drank too much water. So sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Now we are back. Let's see. Just check a few things while we're here. Nope, everything is expected. All right. Let's see. What do we have? Bag looks fine. Tools look fine. We're going to put the saw in the bag. A little tired, a little hungry. Nothing to worry about there. We'll put this back away. I was kind of hoping to find a carpentry book at level 3 for us. We probably don't need it at this point, though. I think we can safely start just pulling apart stuff here. And it is a separate setting you'll have to turn on under accessibility to do this. In fact, I can just show that off, actually. It is right here. Resume normal speed when timed actions are complete. So a timed action is anything like this. You can see we have 57% chance to pull this chair apart correctly. That's not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and start here. Anything with this little success bar or time bar is a timed action. And if I hit F3, I believe is normal, F4 is double speed, and F5 is triple speed, then if I hadn't timed that poorly, if I do this and triple speed, you see speed immediately goes back down to normal as soon as we're done. So we can just kind of go through here, disassemble, speed up time, and you just pass some time doing this. Occasionally we'll fail to get anything useful, and we won't get XP for doing that, But at this point, we're not really looking for XP. Also, if you're wondering why that failed to do it, walking to something is also a timed action. So if I hit it too fast, like if I hit over here, wooden bars, see how this is going? This is an indefinite timed action while they path to whatever you're doing. Does it really matter? Is it a big deal? Not really, but I like to understand mechanically why things work. So that if something feels like, was that a bug? No, okay. Now I understand that if I walk somewhere, I have to time it differently. Let's see. Anything on this? There's a satchel. We can just clean this out while we're in here. We do also eventually want to turn off all the lights we're not using. This one we'll use pretty often, so we'll leave that up. Ooh, that's very nice. The lug wrench is a big common tool for doing anything with cars. And an empty gas can is going to help us because we found that car. Did I leave? Oh goodness, I have just left a corpse here this whole time. No, can I? Am I not close enough? There we go. Oh, but the gas can's nice because we do have that car just over the street there that we just need some gas to put in. Okay, that's just my own footsteps freaking me out. And so we just need to go find now a car with some gas in it that we can siphon the gas out. Now again, we're playing Build 41, which is the newest stable version. And I prefer the stable version, honestly. The Build 42 does have some pretty new interesting things, like it's got more to farming. So there's ranching now, which is just they've added in actual NPC representations of animals, like pigs and chickens and stuff. So you can actually see them and interact with them. And there's a whole chicken coop mechanic you can use. Sorry, I'm losing my words as I try to talk. So there's a lot of neat things you can do with that, but it's also an unstable branch, and I'd rather not mess with that too much, especially while they're still making pretty big, consistent changes to things. Project Zomboid's been in early access for a long time. Nice, that alarm went off, and I actually would not have remembered the show without it. See, we learn things as we go here. But it's been in early access for a long time, actually. But it's one of those games that feels like they're always doing something when it's in early access. It doesn't feel like... I feel like Slime Rancher kind of lived in early access and didn't do anything for a long time. Feel free to disagree politely in the comments on that one. But no, Project Zomboid, I don't mind it being in early access just because it always feels justified. In fact, I kind of prefer games in this level of early access over games that are complete and just shouldn't be. Actually, I am toying around with a different idea for how we handle being a variety stream channel. And so next week, I think I'm going to do it on a weekly basis. So this week is Project Zomboid, and then I'm going to try to get some things set up in the off time. Like, I don't know, figuring out recording shorts or something, you know, just becoming a better streamer over time. But I think next week when I come back on Monday to stream again, that we're going to just pick a different game for that week. We're just going to be lazy. We'll grab a granola bar. It's only 7 food. Oh, this is the half-eaten granola bar that I just put back in the counter. 15? Yeah, we'll just eat all that. But yeah, so actually next week, I want to pick up Alpha Genesis Deluxe. I think it's called. Hold on. Let me find the name of that. Genesis Alpha 1 Deluxe Edition. There is not a regular edition of the game. That is just weird marketing that they did. But I do want to pick up that game. It's a little more roguelike. So it's a roguelike FPS, but it comes to mind for me because it's one of those games that the devs tell you it's done, and they'll say, oh yeah, the game's complete, but there are still pretty big outstanding bugs and things that just really shouldn't still be in the game. It feels incomplete. So it's kind of like Ark Survival Evolved or even Ascended. Again, please disagree politely. In the sense that it's just kind of a shame what it could have been. We're a little sleepy, actually. You know what? We're going to make our way towards the school because I want to see if I can get a carpentry book. And it's more entertaining than tearing apart all the furniture in every house directly next to ours. Ooh, and we do need garbage bags. So actually, gonna get a couple of things on this errand. But yeah, it's one of those games that I can't really recommend to people, but that I still enjoy and put a lot of hours into because I already paid for it. I can't get a refund, and it's playable despite the fact that it could have and should have been better. I don't know. I shouldn't be afraid to say things like that. I mean, you shouldn't be afraid to give feedback online. But people are just so reactionary that even saying that, you know, I'm having to ask people, oh, be polite in the comments. And let's ignore that that's maybe a little optimistic that there's people in my comments as of posting this. But they'll come by eventually. Everything you put online lives forever. It's just one of those things. I wish people were more... I wish people understood more online that everyone they interact with is also a human being. Like, if you make a YouTube comment, would you say that to someone's face? Especially if it was to a thing that they made and put time into? And if you would, I'd hope you're saying something nice. Or at least, you know, not being a terrible person about it. Nothing on these guys. Yeah, we're drowsy. We're feeling the effects of the damage debuff. And we're just trying to very slowly pick our way as far down through the neighborhood as we can. Oh, that person jumped out of the upstairs window to get to me. Hi. You can have my attention for a minute after that. Goodness. Nothing else, just gotta watch off of somebody. Okay. I'm sorry, Chad. I did the thing I'm going to do a million times, and I got distracted while I was talking. I know how that feels. I get so annoyed when the streamers I watch do that, and I'm like, no, please. You had a really great point that I wanted you to elaborate on, and you stopped because, I don't know, Bill jumped out the window and wanted to bite your neck. Maybe I'll come back to that, if that ever comes up. There's a lot of zombies over there. I would have called them zomboids because it's more accurate, but it's just, they're zombies. What do you say to that, you know? Yeah, I do hope that the changes I made, even just this little bit here, are better quality for the viewing experience. I feel so bad that it was letterboxed. My OBS window is almost exactly the same color black that the sort of blank space outside of the screen was. So I could not tell that it was letterboxed that entire time. And then I went back and I looked and I was like, oh, you know, next to my shoulder at the bottom, well, not my shoulder, next to my elbow at the bottom of the screen, you could tell the screen stopped early. And I felt so bad about that, but hopefully this works a little better. And it's not as bad on my eyes as I thought it was going to be. I thought I would struggle a little more to see things, but honestly, the ultra-wide monitor also kind of fights me because I have to turn my neck to see the whole monitor. So this is a little better. I don't have to look as far to see everything. I have just confidently walked into a crowd of zombies. We've got a crowbar, you know? If it was good enough for Gordon Freeman, it's good enough for us. He didn't fight zombies, but well, you know, in Half-Life 2, he kind of fought zombies. Does that count? I feel like that counts. Like, Ravenholm was basically zombie horror. I think that's the same thing. These guys don't have head crabs. Maybe. Oh. Yep. Alright. Just back away slowly. Occasionally we're going to do a bit of a turn just to make sure we're still looking around us. And we just stay out of bite distance, and we just keep hitting them. This is why you only want to pick at a few zombies at a time too, is because it's less about killing them quickly. I got the animation that they tried to attack me, but I don't think they actually did. We'll have to check that in a second. But yeah, it's more about keeping them stun locked like that. Because you can fight 5 or 6 at a time, and if they're stun locked, they're not going to bite you. Anything else on them? Got a couple of digital watches. Alright, what's the health screen? Yeah, they didn't actually get us. You could see we kind of did that "oh, get off me" animation where they tried to bite my neck, and they didn't. But with so many things going on, and with me talking, I just wanted to make sure, oh, the door's unlocked, that we didn't actually get bitten, because that would have sucked. Now here's a real question. Did I forget to set the alarm? No, I did have the alarm set, so we did watch that. I forgot to change the alarm for the next episode, but I saw it in time, so we're good there. Hold on, I'm just going to pause while I get a drink of water. I do not want to get bitten after this. Okay. And again, I have to track down. I thought I had OBS set to record while I streamed, so we should still have that first stream, although I'm tempted not to put it up, honestly, because so many things had to get changed. But we had just the worst luck. I ended up getting a deep laceration on my arm from one zomboid behind me. I think it was a fence or something. And despite me being told by chat, because I didn't know the numbers offhand, that that's like a 7% infection chance for the zomboid infection, immediately was infected with the zomboid infection. And then we've just had some pretty bad luck overall in that first run, but this one's been going pretty well. Honestly, I was not expecting this much of a change in fortunes. It'll never be the godlike run I had a couple of weeks ago when I was just playing on my own, and I started in one of the little small houses. It's more in town here in Riverside, and they had a car keys in one of the drawers, and the car was perfect condition and also full of gas still. I promptly crashed it because I hadn't driven a car in this game in months, but still counts. I got sneaking XP, which means that I was in vision range of someone. Maybe they're really far away? Yeah, you only level up sneaking when there's someone to see you sneaking and they don't see you. Maybe they're like really far out through the front door and that counted. A fishing rod and tackle? Yeah, we'll just take that while we're here. Sneaking, I believe, does take some stamina, so I probably shouldn't just be crouching everywhere. Oh. Hi, friend. This is my house now, though. Nice glasses. Honestly, just nice color coordination from this zombie. They actually kind of look nice. No, don't take the key ring. Do want the key, though. I'll take that. Trying to find any tools I can get. We don't really have much left at this point that we don't already have. These are nice. They're a little heavy, and we don't need them for a long time. Nothing there. We're really looking for like a big hiking backpack, because that's one of the best backpacks in the game. It has a little more carry weight to it. And the crowbar's okay, but it's kind of damaged. We'll leave that one. In fact, actually, how's mine doing? It's doing better than that one still. Yeah, we do want to find a better backpack as soon as we can. Otherwise, I think I'm just looking for anything that catches my eye. I think I looked in here. Yeah. Otherwise, just looking for anything that catches my eye, especially medical equipment and books are a really big one right now. Skill books are going to be huge. Carpentry. Excuse me, sorry. Carpentry is not so bad to train, but electronics is a big one. Metalworking, if we do find the things we need to make metalworking worth trying in the first place, that takes a long time and is very expensive to train. So you want to have the XP buff as soon as you can for that one. Oh, whoops, wandered off while I wasn't looking. All right. Okay, definitely have the volume down. I know I've talked about it a few times. The volume on the TV also really matters. It also plays into the noise mechanic. So the higher the TV volume, the more likely zomboids are going to show up and try to like break into the house to get to the noise. Because they're pretty dumb. They're just attracted to noise and sound and things. It also affects the distance at which we get a buff from the TV. So right here, this is all colored in. If I walked far enough away from the television, I'm not really sure the distance on it for level 1. I kind of don't want to get too far away because the show's about to start. If this isn't already... No, this is still a pizza commercial. But yeah, if we got far enough away from this, then the text would be grayed out and we wouldn't be getting the experience points for the show. Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, and this is woodcraft. We definitely don't want to miss out on this one. The occupation does do a couple other things, which you can only see if you mouse over the skill. So for a carpenter, the carpentry skill, that XP boost plus 125%, that's specifically because of my occupation. These arrows down here are what indicate if you read a skill book, and it'll say multiplier. And you can also see the last time I showed it off, it was 0.6, and then we read more book. So now it's 1.2. But you only get 1 XP per disassembled item, and I don't even think it's always 1 XP, sometimes it's less. So we definitely want the 3 times multiplier. It doesn't even show us this. I think it's like 125 or something to get level 2. 150? It might be the same all the way down. I'm not sure. Okay, buddy. Yeah, all right. We'll get through the rest of that episode. There we are, much sleepier. A little hungry, a little tired, but we're not overburdened. So we're going to remember to come in here and we're going to set the alarm on our watch again. This is noon, so we're going to go to 1750 because we want the 550 show. But we're too tired because we'll get a ton of reduced damage, so we're not going to go fight zombies and try to make any progress towards the school right now. We're going to take a nap, turn off that annoying alarm, and then we're just going to walk downstairs and we're going to watch another episode of TV. And then I'm just going to sit on the ground for this. Sitting on the ground is better than nothing for your stamina regen. And we just slept, so there's probably not a whole lot to worry about with that anyway. But it's just a nice habit to get into. You can see there we got a fishing episode. It wasn't enough to fully level us up again. It's usually enough to get the first level of anything unlocked. But, oh hey, there's someone already hanging out here. And just casually crowbar you and stomp on the head. Didn't even have anything nice. Alright, now we get back to crouch walking. Probably should have stolen some food from that place. I don't have anything in my backpack already, but it's not the end of the world. Is there anything down here other than him? Seems pretty clear. And so same thing, we're a little hungry. This is probably affecting our damage. I don't recall that one well enough to say for sure. I think I might have heard a gunshot. I don't know for sure. Gunshots are a random event. They don't mean anyone actually shot, but they just kind of spawn a noise at a certain distance, and then zomboids from miles away will all get drawn in that direction. It's just sort of a random event to pull the idle zomboids around the map. So it's not like, oh, you get too used to, oh, hey, over here at this intersection, there's like 30 zomboids. I'll just avoid that intersection for the rest of my life and never have to worry about them. So it kind of keeps them moving around the map and makes you have to work to really stay safe all the time. You can't just avoid conflict forever. Although we definitely try. Oh. We have some unwanted attention. But again, we're not focused on killing so much as we are focused on mitigating damage. So standing on top of zomboids, making sure that others are out of range and stunned, getting distracted, picking up watches, and definitely not getting snuck up on by anybody. We're focused on prolonging our life rather than ending theirs faster. Or their unlife. Yeah, we're not going to do philosophy on zombie terminology. Let's see, do we have anything in here? Chips are nice. I don't want to take too long in any of these houses. See, and I almost just took a bunch of stuff that would have been really heavy. We don't want to do that, actually. In fact, I shouldn't have taken as much as I already have from somewhere else. So we're just going to take this, put that tin can in the oven. I'm sure that's fine. If anybody comes by, I hope they look in the oven first before they turn it on. I think that might be dangerous. Yeah, 7:50 p.m. We got our last show. Doing pretty good. How's everything going? So far, so good. A little wet. This is probably just being sweaty. It doesn't look like it's raining. That was a choice, and I was really lucky that that kill did not make enough noise to affect that whole crowd over there. This is a lot. Too much to deal with. So we're going to stand right about here, and then we're going to slowly approach, and we're going to wait a few seconds at a time. Sorry, I'm trying not to clear my throat. It's a very bad habit. But yeah, we just inch slowly. And then when we see any of them approach us, whether they're approaching us or just kind of walking in our direction, then we start to back away and start to swing. This is too much attention. This is a failed attempt of doing what I wanted to do. I only wanted a couple of them. But either by clicking very quickly or by pressing spacebar every now and then, you can shove the zomboids in front of you. Now, if we're lucky, that'll knock a few of them on their butt, and then they'll have to stand back up before they can hit us. And that also is a form of damage mitigation. I guess maybe that's another way to think of it. Every character in this game wants to be the tank. You don't want to take the hits, but you want to mitigate all of the damage. I did see him approaching. Just going to try to clear out the streets a little bit. There's a few over there. They don't see us. I would... no, that's greedy. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to keep going this way. Metalwork magazine. It's not the one we want, though. There is Metalwork magazine. I think it's number 3 that lets you make metal crates. And those are, I think, the most space efficient container in the game. And those are what you would be grinding all your XP and metalworking to get. Metal walls are nice. The metal barricades are good to do. But for the most part, it's just getting extra container space in your base or in your storage. Yep, just knock everybody over. Stand on top of them. Take our time beating them up. If we were going for tailoring, then we would definitely be out here stripping all these zombies and tearing up all their clothes. We don't really need to worry about those skills yet. So we're just prioritizing the garbage bags and the skill books. And the digital watches, because those are good for electronics XP, but also because they are 1/10 of a pound, or 1/10 of a weight unit, so they're really light. Well, shoot. All the doors there are locked. So now we have to try and get through more of the outside of the school. Yep, see, as soon as they saw us, we just start backpedaling. Every now and then while we fight, we just do a quick little circle. Make sure nobody's about to sneak up on us. And then we just continue. Grab another 1 or 2 at a time. The game's all about patience. Until it's all about ignoring everybody like it's a Dark Souls game and then just sprinting through. But for now, we just want to live long enough to get to that stage. Nothing there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that later. If people aren't able to see the stream, that's distressing. But OBS doesn't show anything to me. Oh, don't you bite me. Thought I was hitting both of you. Sorry, it's hard not to be distracted by that one. Especially when everything shows that it's working. But that's okay. That's what these early streams are all about. It's just having scuff, learning how to fix it. I told myself at the start I wasn't going to have any scuff. I did all the work and the research to know everything about what to do, and then you find all the issues you didn't know about, and that you didn't research. There's nothing wrong with that, though. Let's see, is this open? It is. Alright, I'm just going to try to get that stuff dealt with. Get some water. Someone around here, I think, has seen us. Nope. They're just casually beating up on a door. They'd be doing that either way. They just want out of the room. Close the door behind us. Okay, someone's in here. And they have a key. They have a key to the school. They must have been some kind of hotshot. I thought, oh no, because I ate the chips. I was like, I thought I was hungry. But no, I don't need to raid their fridge with the cheese and the zucchini in it. Okay, here's somebody else. And we could be going through here a little faster and ignoring zombies hitting doors. I would feel a little safer just killing off anybody that starts to make it a fuss. Because I want to be able to take my time a little bit looking through all the books. And heaven forbid there's 30 zombies in this room in the library. And there's already a few in there. You know, I don't want to be delayed trying to kill them and then somebody busts down a door and ends up sneaking up on us. Alright, let's get the light on. Luckily, they're too busy beating down on the windows to notice me. Really didn't want them to actually break the window, though. Would have preferred if you hadn't done that. Also, please fall over. Okay, nobody behind us. That one just has a second key on him. Nothing fancy there. Just want to make sure there's nobody else in the library. Okay. And now we can start grabbing all the books we don't have yet. And because I did not take a list before we left, we could just grab all the books. What's this one? No, it's the other one we don't want. Now, I grabbed a handful of books. Honestly, at this point, we're going to grab magazines. Carpentry 4. We do need that one, but we need Carpentry 3 for levels 5 and 6. And we just got it. Okay. The auto manual is nice. That actually lets us do mechanics on different kinds of cars. I should have come here with a more empty backpack. A fishing magazine, that's not bad. What's this one do? Smoke bombs? Some of them are some of them are less useful than others, but may as well take it all. Oh, the herbalist is nice. Metal fences again, come on. Metal containers. It is volume 2 that we needed for that. Okay, we are slightly overburdened, a little tired, a little hungry. But the gym is over this way after I see if there's any medical supplies worth taking. Suture needles, yeah, we're going to want those. Not as much as sometimes is in there. These are just locker rooms to the gym, so I'm not going to bother with those doors. Okay. Just going to see if there's any zomboids in here. Now the food is stale, so it does kind of raise our unhappiness. But that should go down over time and with eating better food. Well, that's not... Was one of those unhappiness? Some of them are. Some of them are just boredom. Honestly, I'm going to eat both of these. Raising boredom isn't the end of the world. It does increase the speed at which our actual depression goes up. And that's kind of a problem, just because it takes a little more effort to get rid of that. But even then, not a big deal. This is what we really want though. We come through here, and I'm going to open both of these doors to the outside world, because that unlocks them. And if they weren't locked when we got here, we wouldn't have had to go through that whole adventure. But then again, that is the fun, huh? It wouldn't have been nearly as entertaining if I had just gone in the side door, picked up some books, and calmly walked home. It is a little nerve-wracking walking back in the dark. Oh, you hear that? It's got someone's attention. Now, we are a little overburdened, but we're not so overburdened that we're slow. So we could still calmly walk away. But that's not, unfortunately, what I'm about. We got that little pocket of zombies that was near this house. This is good, though. It was nice to clear out as much as we did on the way in when it was brighter out, because we can handle a couple of zombies in the dark. Can't handle too much more than that. I shouldn't be going through this way. It's a bit dark over here. Now, because the zomboids move around so much, it's not a big deal to always retrace the path you took. It is more likely to be it's more likely that the zombies haven't refilled that space yet. Like this guy here, just standing amongst his fallen friends. But you definitely don't want to go back a way you haven't been, because you haven't even cleared that one out once yet. Ooh, a camera. We'll take that. We can disassemble that. And this is the house that we slept in on the way here. So we'll just use this as a rest stop. And we should be pretty safe in here. Based on the time, we're going to set the alarm for 5:50 again. If I don't walk away. I know I'm going in the wrong direction for that, but that's all right. And honestly, our character's not drowsy at all, which is part of maybe a disadvantage with taking the restful or the wakeful feat. But we can just hit rest and then hang out here for a little while. So this bag is pretty full. Let's see. Is there anything in here we don't really need? I mean, not really. I'd like to have all of this. Maybe we can just find some food, eat a little bit extra. Stale uncooked, but it's food. Yeah, we'll just eat half of that. Get ourselves a bit of a food buff going. And then from there, hopefully this goes down a little bit. You know, it could be better. We'll just finish it off. The eating noises in this game sometimes, they're not as bad as other games, but still, sometimes it just gets me. Okay, it's dark out. We're a little bored. We can fix that by being outside. Because despite being in the apocalypse and just doing our best to survive and not die, our character gets bored sitting inside all day. Yeah, see, it's already gone. Because we weren't that bored, but the invisible boredom is still there, just right beneath the threshold. Yeah, someone somewhere is beating on a door. Shouldn't be in here. Yes, it is. Alright, I'm coming. No, I don't want any. There we go. Got rid of that. 2 hours to get back home, but it's this dark out. Yeah, we should probably just stay here. Traveling in the dark isn't always dangerous, especially if we took the cat's eyes trait, but we didn't. And so therefore, I'd rather just stay inside for an hour, hang out before my TV show starts, and then once the show is over, should be a little brighter outside, and then we can head home from there. Now, if I had been thinking a little more until I just said that, I would have been reading my carpentry book this whole time for the carpentry XP, which is part of the whole reason we came out here. But that's okay. It's just nice to get a bunch of books back home. Let's see, do we have anybody? There's a sleeper over there, but he won't do anything. We're gonna have to fight this guy no matter what. May as well just start this and get it over with. Nothing on him anyways. What was that? Was that just a newspaper? Oh. I don't think we have that fishing magazine yet. I'm going to take that. The school library was also supposed to be about finding the generator magazine, because we do need a magazine to know how to actually run the generator. But we didn't find it. So I guess the next time we play this, I'm going to have to figure out getting into the post office in town. That's going to take a little bit. Probably need to start checking cars to get some gas, because if we can get a vehicle to go to the post office, that's going to be a lot safer and a lot faster. Yeah, we'll have to see how that all checks out. It's been snowing outside this whole time. I'm nervous a little to check outside and see how bad it is. We're not supposed to get as much as we did earlier in the year, but I don't like dealing with the snow. I don't like the winter. It's too cold. It's too everything. I'm a fall kind of person. I like the cool, rainy weather, and everything else doesn't matter. We're going to put one of these in here. And then, we'll just start unpacking all of our stuff. We'll keep 4 of those and 4 of these on us. Keep 1 alcohol wipes. Oh yeah, the gas cans. Those are kind of killing the carry weight for us here. Let's carry these in here and put them on the floor. 7:30 a.m. So we're still doing decent for the next show. Crafting, electronics. Yep, okay. Get those all put away. Get the water bottle put away. And then the fishing rod and tackle we can put over here. The extra crowbar we can put over here. And see what I mean? These are all really nice things to have, but they also meant that I couldn't bring home most of the library that we went to see. So I really needed to focus on specifically the goal and not take some of that stuff, maybe just mark it down on the map, you know, because we can make notes on our map. So I could have found that, and put notes everywhere and said, come back and loot all these houses if you live long enough. And we only got a couple of duplicate books, so that's not too bad. That paid off pretty well. We'll just put our other duplicate books here in the fireplace. I wish you could burn them. I don't think you can. I think it's just scrap wood and logs and things that you can burn. And carrying the cooking pot also not helping us on our carry weight. And that's enough. Actually, you know what? That's one we're going to place outside, because containers like that can fill up with rainwater, if I can talk, and we can fill those up, and then we'll have a little more water that if the power is still running, we can purify it with the oven. Okay, it is 8:20. We're doing okay on time. I do need to set my alarm for the next episode of our show. I think now what I need to do is start collecting the planks and the nails from off the floor. This is another reason why taking dexterous is kind of nice, because otherwise this would take an extra 50% longer. There we go. And you can see those are pretty heavy. We are very overcarrying right now. If I go to health, maybe you can see it pretty easily. You can see it's dropping a little bit. But we only want to get up here. And then if we right click, carpentry, wooden floor, we're going to put it right outside of the window. For some reason, in build 41, there are issues with being able to build along certain faces of structures. So you can't build out this way or this way, I think. You can build directly out here. And what we need this for is we need a platform to put our rain barrels on. I want to say it was 1, 2, 3 in from here. So we're going to go downstairs because I should have checked that first. And we'll escape out of the build mode. And then we're just going to come down here and see it is 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles in because we're measuring off of the sink. And I will explain this a little better as we go. I just need to kind of pay attention for this for a moment. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles. So we built out far enough for that. And now I'd just like to build a little bit more floor. So what are we doing? Right now we are building a platform to put the rain barrels on. The rain barrels, if placed one level above and directly adjacent to a sink, you can use a pipe wrench to plumb them to the sink. I don't know how you do this. I assume you just find pipes around a house and redirect them or something. It's not so in-depth that it's that annoying yet. Build 42 does do some of that with needing a rubber hose to siphon gas instead of just siphoning it without the hose like you can in build 41. But, you know, they're making their way there. Doorknob, that's nice. But so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to place that platform, and then we can build the rain barrels in place for it. And then with those rain barrels in place and plumbed in, what it does is it doesn't only just let the water go straight through from the rain barrel to the sink that you connect it to, it also makes it clean water. So if you don't, it's just standing rainwater. That's kind of gross, and it's not terribly safe to drink. But if you have it go through the plumbing like that, it instantly becomes safe water to drink. You don't have to spend firewood to start a fire to boil it, or put it in the oven to start boiling it that way, or anything like that, because drinking tainted water is dangerous to you. All right, we're going to take these planks. We're just going to drop them here. And I'm going to get a drink of water myself. Okay. 13 garbage bags. Let's see. Carpentry, furniture, rain barrel. Or carpentry 4. We kind of want this one. Takes 4 bags. Okay. So we can grab all these. Well, shoot. Grab half again, grab half again, grab 1. There we go. That'll do. And then let's also check the floor around here for more planks and more nails, because we're going to need more nails. I'm just going to go around here, grabbing up all the planks and nails off the floor that we left earlier. It's 11 a.m. We still have the alarm set for the show, so we don't have to worry about that. I think there's some nails over here. Nice. And again, you can see we are taking health damage because we're carrying so much more of our carry weight than we actually have. But it's all temporary, and it'll heal up slowly over time. All right, let's get out here. Assemble some rain collector barrels. And this map is so huge, it does feel a little bit like a waste to make these regular rain barrels before... What do I need more of? I don't. Why is it not letting me build here? Huh. Okay. Well, now I need more planks. There we go. I guess it's just trying to figure out how I'm allowed to build something if there's not floor next to it. I always just add these so that I can walk around it and look at it. Oh, thank you, alarm. But they're not necessary. All right, get the TV turned on. Grab the book, and then we'll sit on the ground here and read our book while we wait for the show. Got woodcraft again, very good. Got up to level 5 carpentry. You can see we're already almost most of the way through the book. And the electrician one, that'll be nice to have. And let's see, I don't think I had enough planks up here for the last one. Now I need one more nail and the 2 planks. Okay, well, we've still got stuff we can pull apart up here. So let's see, I think I did not leave the chair. And I did already get any nails that came off of it. Actually double check and make sure I'm picking up stuff as I go. I want to keep these bookshelves. There we go. We can pull apart this. Nah, I didn't get anything. Well, there's still plenty of doors in this place. I don't think doors can drop nails. I think they only drop the planks. This might drop nails, though. Oh, this had a duffel bag in it. Well, that's okay. I think by the time we got to this house, we had the medical duffel bag. I think we found another one before it mattered. And this is all we need now, so we're good. We are very tired and a little hungry and a little overburdened. And yeah, zomboids can see us if we come out here, but that's not even the end of the world because they're not likely to. There's just not that many around. We've killed a bunch of them. And we're not going to be... I don't need a floor. I need a rain barrel. We're not going to be out here that often. It's just to have access to the rain barrels in the first place. So now that those are there, I'm pretty sure we can close this. And then I believe that we plumb from the sink. So we'll take this pipe wrench. Yeah, and then we'll plumb the chrome sink, which I guess we'll do telepathically from across the room. I'm not complaining, it works for me. And then, you know what? We will... Honestly, we'll just place these on the floor. It could be worse. Every container does have a certain inventory size. You can see here 8.83 out of 50. And the planks are kind of big. They are 4 each. No, they're 3 each. And so if I let those stack up in there, that's going to take up pretty much all the space we have. And that's going to be a pain. So let's make sure that our watch is set for 1750. If I don't go right past what I said I did. And then let's go sleep a little because we're very tired. Nice, and it was just barely enough to get rid of all of our sleep debuff. I don't think we're going to go anywhere in the middle of the night, but just in case anything happens, it's nice to not have the damage debuff. And while we're here, we're going to use this menu. We're just going to pick up this chair. We're going to hit tab to go to place mode, and then we're going to click and drag to place it and aim it this way. Entirely for aesthetics, because, I don't know, I'd like having the chair look at the TV. Sitting in a chair and actually having it animated, those aren't things that we get until build 42. But again, it's not a stable version yet. I'd rather just play stable. When build 42 becomes stable, then I'll move over and I will whine incessantly about all of the extra difficulty they added with having to find rubber hoses to siphon gas and do all the rest of it. And then we're just going to prime the book over here. So I have my floor book. I have the one skill book on the floor at any point in time. And that's how I know what I need to pick up and read next time I watch the show. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting there's stuff on the counter over here. What is this? Canned chili and a mug. Okay, well the mug can go out in the trash. But the chili, we can open one, and then I believe with the bowl, it's not letting me yet. No, I don't want to make a salad. Make a bowl of everything else, but not a bowl of chili. I could have sworn that I could have used the chili to make a bowl. Well, that's okay. We are starting to feel the real effect of hunger, which is it has dropped our carry weight by 2. We'll grab another can of chili because that was not enough. Now, normally you don't just want to be raw dogging the canned food like this. You want to actually use most of it as ingredients for things like roasts or stir fries, and that'll go a long way towards making the food last longer and just providing more hunger, frankly. It's also nice because any cooked food that you do, that you eat, will have an unhappiness and a boredom reduction on them. And so it's nice to get a little extra something out of the food. I guess I already took all their terrible clothes. Okay. What else can we do here? Let's organize this. I could have sworn I had dirty strips in here. I guess not. Maybe I cleaned them first. We'll clean all the rags. Definitely, as long as the power is on and the water is still there, I want to try to be doing all of these things as consistently and quickly as possible. Let's see, what's the next thing we really need? It'd be good to find some gas. So what I can do is, while we don't have any damage debuffs, we can start wandering around the neighborhood and look for other cars that might have some gas in them, and we can take the gas out, and then we can go put them in that other four-door car that isn't really the best car. It's got a smaller trunk, but that doesn't matter too much. Then we'll have something to drive, and we can use that to go and find anything else to take. You also don't need rope or chain or anything to hitch a car to another one, so we could start towing cars back to the front of our house, because working on mechanics is very slow, and it means that you're very vulnerable while you're trying to level it up. There's a lot of zombies over here. Maybe this is what we'll do. Is there a car past any of them? No. How's our crowbar doing? It's been in better shape, but it's not bad. You know what? Yeah, we're just going to try to pick a few people off at a time, clear up the neighborhood a little bit. Plus, we don't have a lot of time left until end of stream. Let's just clear up some zombies here, make things easier. And again, next time we're back on Monday, we're not going to be playing Zomboid again. I am, and I insist on being, a variety video game streamer. And if I become known for playing Zomboid, and only play Zomboid, I'm not going to be able to get away with playing anything else. So next week we are going to be playing a different game. Oh wow, I really just got all of their attention immediately. Not really what I wanted. Maybe they don't like that I want to play other games. No, don't bite me. Stay back. I've been doing so good on this run, not to muck it up. Okay. That is everybody. One of them had a holster. It's alright. The defense on the police gear is higher, but it's also pretty heavy. And I believe the insulation on it's higher, which means you get warm a lot faster wearing it. Now that's just a wandering crowd. Neat. Still no manuals, still no real cars around here. Another crowd of zombies. People in the backyard over there. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make our way back to our house for the night. We'll just kind of crouch or jog. Crouching does reduce our noise, and crouch jogging, I believe, is quieter than just walking. Or at least it's always anecdotally been true. If I crouch walk through town, or crouch jog through town, I feel like far less zomboids notice me than if I just casually walked through the same space. Might be wrong, I don't know. Especially since we took graceful this time around, I'm already quieter than I normally would be. Let's see, we got some watches. Yeah, we didn't really get anything else. That's alright. Let's put that away. Let's see how things are. You know what? It is 2 minutes early. However, this is also a pretty good place to call it. And stream is only here for another 2 minutes. So let's get back over here. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up and watching today. Happy New Year's to anybody who happened to experience New Year's while we were here, or if you're watching it in the future. If you look below, you can find all the links to my socials. And make sure to come back next Monday when the crossroad calls again. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.